Barstool Boss and Pizza Roncoeur, Dave Portnoy, I don't know, I'm out of my mind today, has blasted the race baiters who believe Caitlin Clark is only popular because she is white.
According to Monica McNutt, Caitlin Clark's widespread popularity has less to do with her game-changing passes, historic stats, or deep logo threes, and more to do with the fact that she's a white girl from Middle America.
That is a narrative that is very popular among the morons. Major moron, Monica McNutt, how she has a job, I absolutely know, at ESPN, said, well, you know, she's in the Midwest, she's popular, and let's face it, she's a white girl. Really? Okay, let's examine.
But Dave Portnoy isn't staying silent on this one. He's firing back with hard data, real viewership stats that blow Monica McNutt's narrative out of the water. Once the actual numbers are laid out, her take falls apart fast. If you're a Caitlin Clark fan who sees through the noise, drop your city, state, or country in the comments. We're here to show just how global her impact really is. Tired of the distractions? Let's get back to the basketball. Let's talk.
Caitlin Clark is a superstar, not a female superstar. She is a superstar.
We were coming to see Caitlin Clark play.
She moves the needle. The WNBA has been looking for someone who moves the needle.
Let's dive into the comment that has the entire basketball world buzzing. ESPN analyst Monica McNutt set off a firestorm during a recent interview with BBC correspondent Caddy K, making a statement about Caitlin Clark that immediately went viral. The reaction was swift. Fans, athletes, and analysts alike flooded social media with responses. So, what exactly did she say that sparked all this outrage?
Why her?
Same thing.
Why her?
Well, I was just about to say same thing for Angel Reese when I had a chance to cover their games. But I think Caitlin represented, and again, some of this to me probably is not fair to her because it was not anything that she said or was truly based on her personality, but she was a white girl from the middle of America.
She essentially suggested that Caitlin Clark's widespread popularity has more to do with her being a white girl from the Midwest than with her elite talent, relentless drive, or record-breaking performances. For many fans, the comment wasn't just dismissive. It was downright offensive to anyone who's seen Clark's dominance.
And so she represented a whole lot to a lot of people, whether that is truly what she prescribed to or not. We can all say she is a dynamic basketball player and a force both on the court and the marketing sense. But I do think, same thing with folks that may have fallen in love with Angel Reese that may or may not have agreed with everything they had to say either. We attach our fandom to these icons for all types of reasons.
The truth is, during her rookie season, Caitlin Clark delivered outstanding numbers, averaging 19.2 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 8.4 assists per game. These aren't just good stats, they're elite. Her visionary passing, limitless shooting range, and game-changing style have helped redefine women's basketball. And the proof is in the spotlight. The Indiana Fever are slated for 41 nationally televised games this season. That level of exposure isn't about geography. It's about star, power, fan demand, and the undeniable impact Clark brings to the court.
Caitlin Clark, the people's champion! Let's get it!
That's a deep one.
Bang!
Just announced that Caitlin Clark and the Fever will be playing 41 of 44 games this year on national TV. They're coming to watch the other girl, right?
Right? Bang!
Teams are moving their games with the Fever to NBA arenas so they can sell more tickets. How about that?
Bang!
Angel Reese attempted a three this deep. I think she might dislocate her shoulder.
Bang!
You want some butter with that bread? Butter.
Butter pecan! Bang!
The highlight reel moments that turned Caitlin Clark into a household name, those jaw-dropping logo threes, the no-look passes that thread through impossible gaps, and the clutch plays under pressure are all overlooked in McNutt's remarks. But let's be clear, none of those skills have anything to do with being a white girl from the Midwest. They're the result of elite talent, tireless work ethic, and a next-level basketball IQ that few can match.
Believe there was actually a debate on who was Rookie of the Year last year. Imagine being that delusional. Bang! People need to understand she saved this league. Powder, there's no TV deals, no ad sponsorships, heck, no shoe deals for you, Angel Reese, no McDonald's money. The league losing millions of dollars each year. She saved them from bankruptcy. Time to be grateful. Bang! 93% of her games on national TV. She's like that. Bang!
Fans across social media wasted no time pushing back against McNutt's comments, calling out the way she minimized Clark's accomplishments. One user nailed the core issue, pointing out that if being white and from the Midwest were truly the secret to stardom, we'd have dozens of Caitlin Clarks in the league. But we don't, and that's because what truly separates
Della Dunn, Sabrina, Brianna, Kelsey, Diana Taurasi, you had and have these white players in the league that never galvanized the people like this. All right. Now, granted, you can have some people come back and say, well, the media and the coverage wasn't as good as it is now. NILs and things like that weren't popping off. That has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with it, man. If they were that captivating, they would have got the eyes.
Claiming that Caitlin Clark's race is the main driver behind her massive viewership impact isn't just inaccurate, it's a disservice to the sport. It overlooks the years of dedication, elite-level skill, and thrilling performances that have captivated fans and inspired young athletes of all backgrounds. Clark's influence stems from her game-changing presence on the court, not the color of her skin.
But honestly, the main reason is because of her talents. It's not because of her race. Her race has nothing to do with it. Especially with kids. She's saying kids don't see color, man. The kids that I grew up around, and when I grew up as a kid, I didn't see color, man. I did not see color. I didn't care about color. I didn't know what color was. I just knew you were a human being, and I was trying to be your friend. It's kind of a crazy, nonsensical take to say that kids were looking up to her because she was white.
The receipts trace back to September 2024, when Monica McNutt stirred controversy by claiming Caitlin Clark deserved only 60% of the credit for the Fever's playoff appearance. Think about that. Indiana hadn't made the postseason in 6 years. Yet when a rookie comes in and helps turn the entire franchise around, McNutt still hesitated to give her full credit. And here's the thing. McNutt's recent remarks about Clark's race aren't just an isolated hot take. They seem to be part of a larger, ongoing pattern of minimizing Clark's impact and constantly shifting the narrative away from what she's actually done on the court.
She's been spectacular and exceeded expectations. The pick and roll between Caitlin and Aaliyah has been fantastic. Kelsey Mitchell is having a career year, and all of those role players get a slice. I don't know quite how.
Well, that's a lot of pizza pie. I get you. But there's got to be one big slice, and that's Clark. What percentage are we talking about for Caitlin Clark? 80%, 90%, 95%?
Listening to her all season long, I've called a couple of their games. She's team first. Statistically, you're probably looking at least 60%.
McNutt's stance on other star players only amplifies the inconsistency of her 60% credit claim about Caitlin Clark. In most cases, she has no problem attributing a team's success to its standout player. But when it came to Clark, the narrative shifted. Suddenly, individual impact wasn't enough, and the spotlight had to be shared. This double standard became even more glaring during the Rookie of the Year conversation, where McNutt firmly backed Angel Reese over Clark, despite Clark's superior stats across the board. Her justification that team performance should carry more weight. But isn't that the same analyst who just...
You would have the Sky in the playoffs right now, which means that Angel Reese, in theory, has impacted winning in a greater way. But I think the double-double streak that she's on, the 8 consecutive double-doubles, for Caitlin, she's leading rookies in points, minutes, and assists. There was terrific stats put out over the weekend by our colleague Michael Vopel about the percentage, about her being the player that has seen the most blitzes in the league. And so she's navigating a different level of defensive intensity, and rightfully so, because she's playing a point guard role for this Fever squad. So I think today, looking at the standings, you probably tend to lean Angel.
Social media has exploded with calls for ESPN to fire McNutt, as fans are beginning to see a clear pattern in her commentary. Numerous posts point out how McNutt's standards for greatness seem to change depending on the situation.
Okay. To me, yeah, jealous, sure. I mean, would you be jealous of somebody that got $28 million a shoe deal or whatever the deal is before you step foot in the pros, right?
Yeah. To team success. But when it's Clark's individual brilliance that steals the spotlight, McNutt often deflects the credit, suggesting that her popularity is more about race than her groundbreaking.
Well, after the women's NCAA championship, viewership numbers were released where Clark in Iowa set a record for the four most watched women's college basketball games ever. Let me say it again, of all time. That's a lot. Within a 13-month span. So from one Final Four to the other Final Four, the four most watched games ever in the women's Final Four involved Iowa and Caitlin Clark. That's her junior and senior year ever.